Holy lack of Cyberpunk, Batman. Did you hear that it was actually a timed console exclusive on PlayStation? And by timed, we mean it only lasted a little more than a week.
So are you saying it was a timed exclusive as in...
You only could get it for a week.
You could only get it for a week?
The weird version of timed exclusive.
It's a timed PC exclusive. Working.
It's still on Xbox.
Working.
That, to be fair, that's still debatable on PC.
This is the Gamers 2 podcast for December 18th. Your weekly roundup. This is December 18th, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're asking me. It's at the top of the doc. Oh, never mind. All right, well.
Your weekly roundup of news and commentary related to the video game industry. And maybe other things.
I like that you still read that off your phone, by the way.
I know.
As if you haven't, one, memorized it, or two, give a shit.
The thing is, it's like a baby blanket. You know what I mean?
Ah, yeah. Never had one.
Okay, so what's a good analogy?
I also might get told that that's completely not true, but I can never remember that version for me. Like, some people had a stuffed animal. I don't know that I had anything. The closest thing I would have had would be a pillow, and that was just because I liked my own pillow to sleep on.
The point is, I might not actually be reading it from the phone, but if I didn't have it there, my brain would just spontaneously combust.
Right. In 5 seconds you'd be like, this is Talking Baseball. We're going to watch some baggage. And I'd be like, I don't know what show we're doing anymore. Watching baggage. Such a good show. I'm going to take the beginning of this episode now to promote a completely different, a completely unrelated and different thing from us. If you're not already following John Boy Media for hot sports takes, I'm a big fan of Talking Baseball and John Boy and Jake just in general. And the whole team, actually. BBD's great, Plouf's great, Zach, all those guys, Kyle, they're all fun. But Josie, great. The content that gets put out, I believe it's on Mondays usually. Maybe Mondays and Fridays, but mostly Mondays. There used to be a show on TV from what did we find out? It's 10 to 12, I think, for a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
Or 11 to 13 or 2010 to 2012, something like that.
Yeah, it's later than you would think.
It's later than you'd think, and it's a show called Baggage that was on the Game Show Network, hosted by Jerry Springer, in which one contestant shows up, and it's a dating show. One contestant shows up and has to pick between 3 options, all with smaller to larger pieces of baggage that they slowly reveal, and it's just an absolutely great version of terrible television. That being said, they watch it and do commentary over it, and it is great. It is on YouTube. You need to go find it and watch it, because we need more of that in today's society.
And it is one of those situations where it's so bad, it's good.
Yes, yeah. Sit down. If you have a significant other, sit down and watch it with them. This is what I do with Matt, not my other, but for the sake of this podcast, he is.
The other significant other.
That's true. I'm your side bitch. That's a sentence. Also, your side bitch said your main bitch said I spoil you, so we'll figure that out.
There's a lot of jealousy going on in there.
If you haven't figured out with one of your dishes for dinner this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her snapping photos, and I assumed that there was a transfer of...
Well, she asked me for the recipe, so...
Oh.
I gave her that, and then I told her, I was like, by the way, I cheated fresh loaf of bread, so...
I had dinner rolls.
Yeah. I was like, I might have garnered a little bit of favor with the fresh bread thing. She's like, you spoil him, and I was like, well, sometimes. Not $65 worth of barbecue spoiled, but holy shit, a lot of barbecue. Anyway, you should go watch the show Baggage. Watch it with a significant other and play along with them. Because while they're not only commentating on people's horrible lifestyle choices, you get to play who does he eliminate? Who does he pick? And all the things that go along with the show.
Which baggage goes with which contestant?
Yep.
It's fun.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Round 2. Which baggage goes with which contestant? It's a fun time.
Yep.
That being said, this is a gaming podcast, and we'll get back to our own self-promotion. Thanks to the 3 people that listen. We appreciate you.
Self-promotion.
Self-promotion. Something I'm actually terrible at for as arrogant as I am. It's like jumbo shrimp in here. Oxymoron. But here's things I can promote, Matt.
Do jumbo shrimp taste?
God damn it. I had a good segue. Fuck.
Does jumbo shrimp taste different than
Regular shrimp?
regular shrimp?
No. If we're saying that they're the same type of shrimp.
Is there...
Yes.
Yeah, there's different types of
Yeah,
shrimp.
there's locational shrimp, the same way there's different types of fish.
Seafood. Just confuses me.
I see food and I eat it. Speaking of things that I see and eat, new releases came out this week. Because I lost my good segue.
See and consume. New releases.
New releases include, number 1, the collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend for the Switch. Spoiler alert, I hate every game that came out this week. Or everything that's on this list. I hate it.
It's a short list.
It is. And I hate it. But anyway, collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend for the Switch, December 15th. I don't know why I left the dates in this time. Fall Guys Season 3 has officially started. Number 3 was GTA Online's Cayo Perico Heist has officially dropped. Number 4, MXGP 2020 for the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Take that back. One thing that we don't hate, Matt, bike racing games. And
That's fair.
Number 5, not that we ever call out any. Actually, I think we do call out all of them, but the one we always usually focus on is Isle of Man, TT Isle of Man. Anyway, the it's a year in review episode while not being one.
The problem with bike racing games is they're never like
You're not in it-
motorcycle.
Well, because you're not in an
racing games.
arcade cabinet.
Yeah, they're never as good as you'd want them to be.
Because we all agree. Number 5, PUBG Season 10 apparently started, and is PUBG still going? And that's all the new releases. Back to the bike thing.
We have a PUBG story
Oh, interesting.
of sorts.
Blue Point or PUBG?
It's PUBG of sorts.
PUBG adjacent?
PUBG adjacent.
Interesting.
I guess. Well, yeah.
Okay. The thing with bike racing games. Now, we've all sat on the arcade cabinets with the bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not you even played the game, you 100% leaned as far as you could to one side or the other.
Yeah.
Doing the good old, I'm gonna put my knee to as low as it gets, the same way they take it into corners.
Yeah.
I can drive racing cabinets decently. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm no world. I wouldn't last in a competition. Let's be fair. But in a group of friends, Matt and I would be putting each other to the test.
Yeah.
Until he pits me in the final corner.
It's competition.
Yeah. Until he puts me in the final corner, and I'm screwed.
Till it gets 30.
Yeah. Which would be actually probably off the start, depending on which game we're playing. You do the double gas pedal, get the flames going, Cruising USA, the whole thing. If we start doing Fast and Furious and we're saving codes and unlocking our cars, it gets to be a whole other thing. Anyway, back to the bikes.
Hydro Thunder.
Ooh, Hydro Thunder. But anyway, don't get me going because I want the good boat.
Exactly. Yeah.
The boat.
Throttle.
Throttle. I want to say gas pedal, speedometer. None of those were right. The thing with the bikes, I could never drive them successfully.
No, there was some wonkiness that happened with those cabinets.
I don't know if it wasn't 1-to-1 or, spoiler alert, I don't know how to drive a bike that fast or a bike at all. So I would just be like, all right, that's a corner. Slight lean. And the whole thing's gone. I'm in the dirt.
Yeah. It was like slightly, and all of a sudden the bike was like, oh, 90-degree turn? Okay.
Yeah, the only way I was going to make it is if I just slowed down so far that I was just cruising around the corner at like 30 miles an hour. Like, I can do this. But the moment you're like, I need to actually race and go into the corner hard, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I wonder if it's I'd have to test the theory by finding a bike arcade cabinet, which
For $5,000, you could probably have one.
I wonder if it's like genuinely set up to drive like a bike where you have to counter steer in the corner. Like you lean the way you want to go, but then you counter steer.
So I have to drift into the corner on a bike?
Not really drift. It sounds that way in word description, but
listen, I don't know enough about bike racing. I just like watching it, and I do at some point want to escape with you to the Isle of Man and sit on one of those cobblestone walls as somebody going 250 flies past us on a motorcycle.
That'd be pretty dope.
And just sit there and drink all day. It's the same thing what I want to do with Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
Get partway up on one of the corners where you can see a decent amount of the track and just hang out with a small George Foreman or propane-style Coleman and a cooler full of drinks. And that's where I am today. I'm just going to watch all these cars go by.
This is the issue that's going to be post-pandemic, is that people have been cooped up with the pandemic, haven't been able to do things. Everyone's just going to be like, fuck it, I'm doing it. So we're going to want to go do these things. But then we're going to be competing with the 800 million other people who are feeling the same way. So we're just going to play video games all the time.
That's true. How dangerous. Do you want evens or odds?
I don't care.
No, you pick. I pick every damn week.
Let me see what's interesting.
I haven't looked.
It doesn't really matter. Okay, I'll just start. Fuck it. All right, number 1. The Game Awards were popular. So popular, in fact, that the audience...
Spoiler alert, Matt.
Spoilers. The audience grew 84%
year over
last year.
Yeah. And these are the numbers I appreciate, Matthew.
At the peak of the event, there were 8.3 million concurrent viewers worldwide. Some other useless numbers. Twitch alone accounted for 2.63 million concurrent viewers globally, which was double last year's number. 9,000 content creators were co-streaming the show.
It's a lot of creators.
91% more than last year. Audience voting also doubled, hitting 18.3 million.
Huh.
So a lot of participation, which I like that.
Plains How Last of Us won. Not really, because it's 90-10. We did that whole episode last thing. But
explains Ghost, I guess.
Explains Ghost in the People's Choice, whatever. But yeah, good to see it still growing.
Huge. Grew huge.
We're only going to get bigger. I think the content creator part of that is the big stat to take away.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were aware you could co-stream it last year, but I think last year might have been the first time you could they had the good co-streaming like tie-in. Before, I think you had to go find a stream and then stream the stream, where this time was the co-stream of doing it.
That feels right.
And this year, I think that more people have also started streaming in terms of not started streaming, but more people have started that are in the media industry have started streaming.
Streaming is more mainstream.
Yeah. Yeah, streaming is more mainstream. Yeah, I hate that sentence for some reason, but
I know it sounds
like it has stream twice in it, but your big guys might have already been doing it. Loop, Doc, Courage, somebody on Mixer might have been doing it. Rip. But the average, like, obviously Troy Baker wasn't doing it, but you could have seen him doing it and all those other people that have kind of shown up in 2020 into streaming things of just being like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So,
yep. Interesting, though. I would not have expected it to grow that much over a single year, but
true.
Also, we kind of are in our own bubble where like the Game Awards is like a normal thing for us, which might not be the case for a lot of people. Like theoretically, there could be people who are like, "Oh, the Game Awards, I didn't know this was a thing." You never know. Interesting. Interesting times to be alive.
Sorry, I'm messaging things. Interesting time indeed. And even more interesting, let me bring you up to the next story of number 2. Microsoft announced that the EA Play rollout on PC as part of Xbox Game Pass has been delayed until sometime in 2021. Originally, the partnership was supposed to go into effect on Tuesday. Weird. I don't know why.
It was random. There was like a statement issued, but essentially it boiled down to EA needed more time to make it work, I think. Which is weird to me, but whatever. Whatever.
I want to say it, though.
Game Pass?
Well, first off, we need to get our token Game Pass comment in. Game Pass is still a great service, even without EA Play. And let's all remember that the EA Play getting baked in with Game Pass is only the bottom level of EA Play. So it's just the trial stuff, except for Jedi Fallen Order. Whenever that does happen, that'll be the full enchilada. But the rest of it is just your 10-hour trials. The other thing to remember, Matt, not to remember, the other thing I saw about Microsoft recently, within the last 48 hours, and it's already sold out. But apparently, at some point, Microsoft was selling ugly Christmas sweaters.
Oh.
Now, when I say ugly Christmas sweaters, I'm pretty sure it was the old Windows logo on a Christmas sweater. The old Windows logo being the black windows with the blue, green, orange, and yellow, and the little like trail.
Trail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted, after I saw it, I saw it after the person was like, oh, they're already, like, I didn't buy one when I could have, and now they're sold out.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted one. After I saw that it was sold out, obviously I wanted one. But I wanted one only to wear to work.
See, I think a better ugly Christmas sweater would be Windows Vista.
Just a Windows logo would be shill enough that I think it would be funny. Even if I was wearing a different operating system, even Apple, like an old Mac, if I had a Commodore 64 ugly Christmas sweater, if I had a Debian, an Ubuntu, Red Hat, any true distribution ugly Christmas sweater to wear into an IT place on the holidays would get enough eyes rolled that I'd be happy with myself.
That's fair.
Because somebody would be like, "Are you serious?" I'd be like, "You're damn. Well, why not?" Are you telling me I'm wrong?
Nerds.
It's the same way that I want to get the lamp from A Christmas Story and find a way to plug it in somewhere in the office.
I hate that movie.
So do I. I don't hate that movie as much as I hate It's a Wonderful Life.
See, It's a Wonderful Life, I am okay with.
I hate them both for their cult favoritism.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Wonderful Life I find extremely boring, which makes sense. It's actually supposed to be a semi-heartfelt movie, and it's slow, and it's all about the scene where Atticus Finch tries to jump off the bridge at the end. But 6 movies brought into that. Books, whatever. I don't remember a bunch of It's a Wonderful Life. I think I've been forced to watch it maybe twice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember much. I do remember there is a scene on a bridge though, because I'm pretty sure somebody is debating committing suicide.
Maybe.
And then they have to like save him because it's not all that bad as their whole bullshit. Either way, if I'm wrong, don't tell me. With A Christmas Story, I get really annoyed because the only thing that ever gets pulled out of it is you'll shoot your eye out and fragile. The only 2 things people pull out of that. I would appreciate people knowing the actual name of the BB gun, which is always fun. Or the whole Ovaltine code cracker scenario.
That's what I was going to say was you got to drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah.
That was the other one that's always brought up all the time.
Yeah, and that one's brought up for multiple reasons. It's brought up for the secret decoder ring, and it's also brought up for like that movie. But I mean is it a Daisy? The Red Ryder BB gun.
Is it Red Ryder? Okay.
Yeah, and there's more to that though. It's a Red Ryder something BB gun.
Yeah,
it might be the character's name.
Oh yeah, it was
Tommy.
Yeah, it was like a TV show thing or
yeah,
something.
Yeah. And the Ovaltine thing is also because that was the commercial tagline at the time, was remember to drink your Ovaltine. So that was just, when people were watching the movie, that was just playing on the radio anyway. So you have a bunch of old fucks that are like, make sure kids drink your Ovaltine. And I'm like, never had that in my house. Get out.
My grandmother had it at her house.
I don't think it was ever in a house that I know it was in. That's a weird sentence when you think about the logic in it.
Yeah, I get it.
But family-wise, I can't think of a house I was in that I know that Ovaltine was present. I think the only powder would have been Nesquik.
Yeah, which that's what it...
But I also never powdered my milk.
They did Ovaltine, and then we got Nesquik, and my grandparents kept a stash. You know?
I remember the Nesquik commercials and that weird fucking rabbit thing.
And then what was great about it was they would always let me make this is where my chocolate milk fetish started. They'd always let me make my own chocolate milk.
A lot of chocolate?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of chocolate, not much milk.
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact, don't give a shit about chocolate milk.
Well,
like I've had it, State Fair, because you can get the good old quarter milk.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go through that line and spend $50 if I could.
Yeah.
But I'd also find myself in not great State Fair bathrooms.
Yeah.
Column A, column B. You win some, lose some. That being said, I've gone through it multiple times. I've gone like, I'll take some white. You know what? Give me some chocolate. Let's mix it up. Let's, flavor palette here. Make it a little different. And I get the chocolate one, and I'm like, the small little glass you get, I don't know, what is that, 8 ounces maybe?
I don't even think it's that.
4 ounces.
Yeah.
Then. Shots.
Yep.
Shots of milk, basically. It might be 2 shots. And I get that of chocolate. I go, that is enough for me. I am satisfied there. But I still like chocolate ice cream. I like a chocolate milkshake. I like other ways that it's done just as a pure chocolate liquid. I'd rather just drink chocolate syrup.
Well, 2020.
No State Fair in 2020.
Also took my ability to appreciate chocolate milk away, so. Motherfuckers.
It really is sad with all the food that we've been getting. And, not that we've been gorging ourselves, but let's be honest, it's been pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the deliciousness we've been getting, and you can't fucking taste any of it.
Nope. I can taste salt.
Yeah.
Like I can tell when something has less salt in it.
Yeah,
and that's really it.
You managed salt and pepper tonight.
Yeah.
And you can get a little bit of heat sometimes, but it was funny in discussing our recipe. She messages me, hey, do you have a recipe for that? He says you really liked it, yada, yada. I was like, yeah, I'll give you the recipe I used. And then she messages me after you've tried it, and he says, it's good. It does taste different, but it's like a good different. And I was like, okay, interesting. Because I also warned her beforehand. I was like, you do remember your husband can't taste a damn thing, right?
Which makes sense now because it would be the consistency that was different.
Yes, and that's exactly what I told her because she sent me the picture of it, and I went, your consistency is quite different.
Yeah.
Because I soaked the shit and melted my parm.
Mm-hmm.
Hers was not.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. That was the only thing I could tell. And also my bread was better than dinner rolls, but
Yeah, so
I do love me a dinner roll. No hate.
The consistency was different, and she used the proportioning of the ingredients was different.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Also,
which has been a big debate in my house because, like most Americans, we have a lot of chicken.
Okay.
And I'm just sick of it. And whenever we make a chicken dish, there's always a fuck ton of chicken in it. And I'm like, if I'm having tortellini, I want the tortellini to be...
There specifically was not much chicken in mind.
Yeah, I want the tortellini to be, the main...
There was actually, I think, as close as I could find, which might have been 0.2 pounds off of the exact measurement that the recipe said for.
Yeah.
And you saw the thighs. They're fucking tiny anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just been the...
It was funny when she's messaging me, like, I'm going to make it for tonight. I was like... I mean, luckily you live where you do, because if I was going to, at whatever time it was she messaged me, be like, I'm going to make that for tonight, I'm looking at a late dinner.
Yeah. I think we ended up going a different route
anyway.
Did you go
cheese tortellini? Because I don't think it matters.
Yeah, we did cheese tortellini.
This is completely unrelated to the gaming news we're in the middle of.
Yeah.
I distracted us with Christmas sweaters.
What else did we do? We did like the ganache. Is that how you say that? The potato.
Ganache is a thing.
Yeah, like it's like a potato pasta type thing. Oh my god, I'm dying here.
I'm just gonna say yes, but I'm not. Honestly, don't know. So
I don't fucking know either. That was good. We'll have to do that sometime. Anyways,
add to the list. Listen, I got enough barbecue I got to eat before I leave.
Leu Technology Holdings is finally closing on a deal to be sold. Shareholders have approved an acquisition by Chinese giant Tencent. According to PC Games Insider, Tencent could spend $1.3 billion on the company. Leu owns Warframe developers Digital Extremes, UK work-for-hire studio Splash Damage, and publisher Athlon Games. The latter is currently working on a Lord of the Rings MMO with Amazon. There was a point in time when Sony was rumored to be interested, but apparently Tencent won out because money speaks
volumes. Still interested to see how that Lord of the Rings MMO comes out.
Yeah, there was another thing that I came across while looking for news where apparently it's supposed to be out in 2022.
We'll see.
Amazon, I think, is making a big Lord of the Rings push. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but they also have New World.
So
how does Amazon drop 2 MMOs?
That was my same exact thought. And that one supposedly was in development since 2018.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. So it probably uses that same fucking Lumberyard engine.
Lumberyard, yeah.
And so they have their show coming out, which they hired a stupid amount of actors for. Like, they casted 20 or 30 people.
Is this going to go the way of Defiance?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I don't know that for sure, but they're making this weird push.
But that's not a good prediction.
So the current Lord of the Rings Online is getting a graphical update that coincides with the TV show launching. And then they're coming out with a new Lord of the Rings MMO in 2022. Ugh. So it's like, what are we doing here?
I got a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Number 4. Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony released a joint statement expressing a collective commitment to ensuring their online spaces are free from hate and harassment and safe for younger players. The companies said they will, quote, continue investing in evolving and amplifying approaches to user safety, end quote, prioritizing the safety of their most vulnerable players. The trio grouped their commitments under 3 principles: prevention, partnership, and responsibility. We could go into detail about what each of these principles mean, but it's your typical PR speak. Nate would like to add a note here that says, no shit, they're trying to remove hate and harassment, but spoiler alert, you can't.
Yeah. So they did, in their statement, their joint statement or whatever, they outlined details behind each one of their like core principles.
Yeah.
And it was like the most generic PR worded thing I've ever seen. It literally said nothing, but was just like all these feel good things.
My favorite part is the easiest way to do this, and somebody would complain, but the easiest way to do this: remove chat in all aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
I thought, like, whatever happened to
make it somebody else's problem. Remove chat in all aspects and make it somebody else's problem.
Be like, all right, Discord,
you deal with it.
You get in here. Was it the 360 that had the segments, like the underground?
Yes, 360 had community groups of outlaw, underground, street, like a bunch of weird things where they're like, yeah, categorize yourself by what you're okay to see and talk about, and it's like, what the fuck is that? Because no kid is gonna look at it and go, well, I'm not gonna choose the underground.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, though,
that's like, hey.
Like, shouldn't it not be the parents' responsibility to, like...
Here's the problem. I could tangent very hard, very quickly into this. But I don't want to go that far. Because there was something similar that was brought up with the latest MLB news.
Okay.
Which
I thought we were going to go...
No.
Into the fucking COD Twitch ban thing.
COD Twitch ban thing.
A freaking 6-year-old kid who's playing COD.
Oh, no. I mean, we could go to the Twitch simp version and incel banning.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one, too.
But we'll ignore both of those. For the part of this story, I don't know if you know the most recent MLB news. Pretty landmark thing to happen. We'll talk about it not on this. But you should take a look at it. I think you'd find it very interesting for historical things and you as a budding baseball fan.
The only thing I saw was that it was a rule change.
Not even what we're talking about.
Okay.
Bigger. Much bigger.
Okay.
Historically bigger. Anyway. The issue is that people don't like facing the truth. Parents refuse to believe they suck. Now, yes, you do have parents that don't suck. I have parents that don't suck. I assume yours don't.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody has aspects of sucking. We all do. How it works. But a parent would much rather blame a corporation for not parenting their child than they would parent their child.
Yep.
How dare you put boobs on my TV when I can't just explain to my child what boobs are? There's a lot of weird angles I can take the rest of that conversation. I'm not going to go there just yet. But parents are inherently shitty. We've experienced it for I don't know how much of a millennia that we worked in retail. Probably wasn't that many years, but let's be honest. Feels like a lifetime. And you'd have somebody come in and go, hey, I want to buy GTA whatever number for little Tommy here. And Tommy looks like a fucking spring chicken staring up at you because he's not taller than your knee. And all he can think is, I'm going to go have sex with a hooker in my car and then kill her and take the $25. And you're like, not that I have any problem. Once again, don't have any problem with little Tommy playing the game. But the parent won't bother to explain to Tommy why this whole thing is not real and how it should, satirically influence himself. Granted, little Tommy, if he's only your knee, might be 4, not going to understand satire. That's not the point. They don't have a context to give it to him. And all he understands is if I give a woman money and we go in a car, I can hit her with a baseball bat afterwards and the money comes back out. And you're like, you skipped so many steps in that conversation that we now have a problem on our hands. And that's how Ted Bundy came about.
You heard it here first, folks.
Number not mine.
Vin Diesel.
Normally when I get on those rants, I just feel like I'm supposed to go next, and I forget that it's not me.
Vin Diesel has joined Studio Wildcard as president of Creative Convergence or executive producer.
Or?
I'm assuming they are interchangeable.
I was saying, does that just mean like whatever he feels like walking in the office that day, he puts on a different hat?
Yeah, basically. For both the upcoming Ark 2 game and Ark the Animated Series. According to the CEO of Studio Wildcard, quote, Vin is also an accomplished gamer who has played thousands of hours of Ark Survival Evolved. He understands the game intimately and is providing direct feedback to the development process, end quote. Thousands of hours in Ark. Riding dinosaurs.
Part of me, a large part, calls bullshit. And I have a solid bet that man has left it on in his trailer while shooting movies. Other part of me, one of my favorite quotes of all times. It's up there. Top 150. Vin Diesel will never pay someone else to do something that he doesn't think he can't do worse. That he can do worse, sorry. That being said, I have thousands of hours in WoW. I'm not hired as a creative director at Blizzard.
Would you want to be?
No. Well, yeah, I would. Let's be honest. I'd take it. But there's scope hangers. I don't have problems, but I have a lot of skepticism whenever Vin Diesel is mentioned in his gamer abilities. Because we know he has his D&D thing. And I think he has some of his D&D characters tattooed on him, if I'm not mistaken. Not positive about that, but I think that's true. And they've talked about him having these epic D&D sessions, and I'm like, okay, I might believe you to an extent, but I've also kind of watched that man play D&D, and other than the fact that it was everybody curtailing to him, which I think is terrible, it seems so dull and dry that I can't imagine that man role-playing with anything that isn't named Dom and a Charger. That being said, I'm betting if I pulled up certain people's ARC histories in time, just because you have 1,000 hours, let's be honest of what this really is. How much money did Vin give you in an investment for ARC 2? And in exchange, you gave him a title that you should probably never consult him on. Like, just keep making the game, and when he shows up and he goes, yeah, so how's this going? You pull down a different screen and show him what he was talking about. Then the moment he walks out of the room, you put that screen away and be like, good thing we're not doing that.
So,
because if we've all seen the Fast and Furious game.
What's upsetting about this is, I think what I had in mind when creative people started to enter into the video game industry in the past couple years, past 5 years, 10 years.
Do we mean Hollywood creatives?
Mostly. My hope was that we would get things like Christopher Nolan or James Gunn. I don't know. Random people who make crazy good movies.
Here's who should be doing it. It's Taika Waititi.
That's was going to be the next one on the list. That was the hope, was we'd get these people who create amazing movies, and they were like, oh, I could do some interesting things with a video game. No, we get Vin Diesel. And I know everyone loves Keanu Reeves. We get Keanu Reeves. We get fucking...
Yeah, Keanu's not in there as a creative lead. He's in there playing a role.
True.
He's a la Norman Reedus, except that's even weirder to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the buddy cop romance that's going on between Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, Kojima, and apparently Guillermo del Toro, whatever Death Stranding was.
Mm-hmm. I still have to play that game.
I think I've played what I'm going to play. Let's be honest.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm morbidly curious because it's going to either be like it's successful for whatever reason, and then reinforces not a great direction to go, or it fails miserably and it's fun to point and laugh at.
Well, I think it'll be fun and point to laugh at, even if it's extremely successful. It's
true.
The equivalent of me pointing and laughing at Nathan Fillion being Cade 6. Be like, haha, he's dead, and then you see a bunch of people that just whine and complain the entire time.
Disney is rumored to be rebooting Firefly. Not thrilled about that. Random Nathan Fillion thing going on there.
I get to point and laugh at you again. The interesting, the part of it for me that is going to become interesting is I now have a couple people I know that play Ark.
Mm-hmm.
And Ark has forever been, updated, modding, and whatever else you can do to it. If they don't turn off the Ark servers, or people start just hosting private Ark servers, what will be your reason to get to?
So is this going to be another Overwatch situation type thing?
Well, Overwatch 2 is just even out.
Yeah, but
yes,
there's similar conversation.
I'm curious how you would how would you entice your fan base that has been playing Ark with all this stuff and whatever to just go to 2? I don't know how you entice them, but I'm not in that ecosystem, so
yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it'd be interesting if
I don't think Vin Diesel's your poll.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they went the route of Call of Duty Warzone, where they separated, we're gonna do a story thing, but also there's this.
That would be interesting. But then at that point, you don't call it Ark 2.
Yeah,
you call it Ark Story number 6 or Ark Saga. Number
Vin
6.
Diesel.
Vin Diesel is Ark. His character's name is Riddick. Number 6. Spotify is now available on Epic Games Store, signaling developer Epic's ambitions to turn what has so far been, I stuttered so hard there, so far been strictly a game store into a more general app distribution platform. Spotify's availability on the Epic Games Store arrives as Epic is in prolonged legal battles with Apple and Google over the business models of each company's respective app store.
A little bit of an update just to keep the thumb on the Epic, Apple, Google three-way love triangle.
Yeah. And Epic's like, I got this side bitch called Spotify.
Yeah.
Which
Epic,
is just...
Epic being like, I want to be the side bitch.
Yeah. It is a...
Get your apps from me.
It's an interesting beginning move.
Yeah. Shall
see how it breaks down.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because, like, that was, I assume that was the direction that they wanted to go. They're like, oh, we want to be an app store and we should be available on all platforms.
Right.
And this is them being like, we want to be an app store. We want to be available.
Let's go get a very easy app store.
Yeah.
Spotify. Next one. Vimeo. Because you can't get YouTube.
I'm trying to think of something that's like
Twitch.
Twitch maybe might work. It's gonna be something like TikTok.
Yeah. TikTok.
Something for
Instagram.
the kiddies. Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
WhatsApp. Get all the Facebook.
Yeah, but Facebook's got that deal with Microsoft.
Yeah, but they also have an antitrust thing going on, so
that's true.
They're vulnerable.
It would look good for them,
so you can take advantage. That's not a sentence. Don't take that out of context. Don't clip that. That being said, before we continue on the Epic thing, because I'm going to cut into deals right now because I don't want to do it later because there are no other deals to talk about. You don't have to put that down. It's going to be quick. Yeah, I'm going to put it down. All right. Epic is doing its free games, one each day, 24-hour window to claim them. So yesterday was Cities Skylines. So if you didn't claim that, which I know you didn't, you missed out.
How do you know I didn't?
You're you. Am I wrong?
I mean, I knew it was there, and I willingly let it go.
Disappointment. Free things. Just take them. They give you free things. You take free things.
I get that, but like, it's not like I'm ever going to play it.
But what if you ever wanted to, and even not, you still got it for free. You don't have to install it. It's a digital library. Why am I doing this?
That was 5 minutes of my life that I didn't waste.
5 minutes? 3 clicks.
Yeah, no.
That's not even 5 minutes.
That's assuming I'm at the computer or near the computer.
Yo, when aren't you?
Most of the time. Do I wish I was closer to the computer at all times? Yes.
Well, don't have your wife destroy your office.
It's not even that, dude. I walk in that room, and then I have Samantha coming in being like, what are you doing? And then I got Milo coming in who literally is trying to crawl on top of me and barks in my face.
Okay, he's allowed.
As soon as I step foot in that room, everyone in the 1 mile radius is like, no, you have to pay attention to me.
That's why I live 2 miles away. The other one that is available right now is Oddworld. I want to say New and Tasty, but I don't remember if that's the actual name of it. But
sounds right.
There's an Oddworld game up right now. There will be another game tomorrow. So check Epic every day. Get free things. Even if you never play them, it just means you have them.
They have to be wasting so much money on this thing.
Probably.
I mean, who actually buys games from the Epic Game Store?
People do. Oh, also, claiming one of these free games gives you a $10 coupon to use during their holiday sale. And, Matt, fun fact, if you use that $10 coupon to buy any game, you get another $10 coupon. Yeah, think about it. Rolling coupons. Take a guess how somebody bought a lot of the Borderlands 3 DLC for a total combined price of about $15 versus $60. That's you just
really working that free real estate.
You buy them individually, you generate a new $10 coupon, you go buy another one, it's only $5. You go buy another one, it's only $5. Oh, just boom.
Wow. Big brain over there.
Big brain. Maths. Quick maths. 2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths.
Whoa. Math podcast.
Have you heard about Pythagoras? Something about love triangles.
Electronic Arts.
Oh, every triangle is a love triangle if you love triangles. That's what it was. Got it.
Yeah, there it is. Nailed it. Electronic Arts has agreed to a deal to acquire Codemasters for approximately $1.2 billion. In explanation for the deal, Codemasters chairman Gerhard Florin. I like Gerhard better, though.
Gerhard Florin.
Florin said that both companies, quote, have a shared ambition to lead the video game racing category, end quote. You may be a little confused by this development since we were relatively sure that Take-Two was purchasing Codemasters. EA decided to swoop in at the last minute with an offer roughly $300 million more than what Take-Two was offering. What will happen first? A Codemasters Need for Speed, or EA running another developer into the ground? You decide.
I will say using the Need for Speed name to run them into the ground. Combination platter, please. When we were talking about this in our little chat, it was disheartening after we were like, we came up with this idea, back when the Take-Two rumors happened, and we said, what about a Midnight Club Codemasters?
Yeah.
Well, that's gone. But what about an actual Need for Speed from Codemasters?
I mean, that's
and
good.
I go, I'm intrigued if you actually give it Codemasters driving, and not whatever the hell Need for Speed's driving has been lately.
EA would have to let
Codemasters.
EA would have to give Need for Speed to Codemasters.
Yeah.
And not give Codemasters to Need for Speed.
Yeah. They have to look at Codemasters and go, as long as your next game is titled Need for Speed whatever, we're good.
Yeah.
And let them go pick an engine and do what they would like.
Codemasters does proprietary engines, right? I think.
I believe so, yeah.
I'm going to look this up because this is crucial information for any
EA studio.
EA deal.
Also, $1.2 billion. What was the studio we just talked about a couple weeks ago that was $700 million?
That was this deal.
That was this deal?
Yeah.
That's $500 million more.
It fluctuated because it actually that was in pounds, and there's conversions and all this other shit. It was like between like 300 and 400 million difference.
Too many loonies and toonies out here. I'm aware it's not pounds. I get the joke.
Because I had the same thought though, and that's
because I was like 700 million. 1.2 billion is closer to an evaluation I would have had for Codemasters, especially for somebody like EA who already has a racing franchise to give them. Where Take-Two would have had Midnight Club, but Midnight Club hasn't had a game since 2011?
So, what made Midnight Club intriguing to me was that... so are you familiar with the actual Midnight Club? I don't know, we might have had this conversation on the podcast before.
No, I'm not.
So there was a genuine...
the dub edition. I'm not familiar with either one.
So there was a group in Japan called Midnight Club.
Okay.
And
were they the ones Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift was based on?
No.
That's more of a joke than anything because I don't.
Well, so we're getting really in the weeds here, but Tokyo Drift is based on like the tuner scene in Japan. And that kind of was kicked off by Midnight Club and what they were doing. So Midnight Club was a super exclusive club that basically was a bunch of Japanese businessmen and rich people. And they also, some of them owned portions of prominent tuner companies in Japan in like the late 90s and maybe mid 90s. So they were a small group and they would do top speed runs on the Japanese highway.
Right up until they got roasted by what's his name? You know the guy I'm talking about, right?
Is it
the 911 tuner?
Yes.
I don't remember his name. Now, it's really bugging me because the entire style is based off of that man. But yeah.
Oh, you talking about
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Fuck.
But yes, the guy that custom builds. He comes to you to build the entire thing. Comes
from that same
yeah
era. And a lot of like the really prominent Japanese tuning companies now that's where their roots are. So they have all of a sudden become active again because what happened was there was a really bad crash at one point. Some innocent bystanders were killed, and that was one of their core principles was that never
kill a bystander.
Yeah, essentially never harm.
I do like that would be in your rules though. Don't kill spectators.
Never harm like outside bystanders.
For the record, that's ever in one of our PAX panel. That is on our rules. Don't kill the attendees.
So they shut down, and all of a sudden, over the past year, they've become active again. Like they all of a sudden, like social media accounts started popping up, and like all these different things. So
they came into the 21st century type of thing.
Yeah, like they all decided to like, oh, let's start doing this again.
You guys hear Instagram's a thing?
So, Matt being car nerd and also video game nerd, I was like, I was like putting pieces together. I was like, oh, that would be cool.
You had your red yarn up on your thumbtack board.
Exactly. So, a
bunch of pictures of just weird Japanese cartooners. You're like, it all spins back to Vin Diesel.
So that was a really long story to tell you that EA just crushed all my hopes and dreams.
As per usual. Wait until Mass
But hey,
sucks.
Maybe we'll get a new Underground made by Codemasters. There's hope still.
Riders on the Storm. I can go boot that up on the GameCube right now, Underground 2. That's going to be the first track to play is Riders on the Storm. I'm just going to be driving around in the pitch black where I can't see shit. Just, I hate this game. Number 8. Steam broke its own concurrent users record twice in the past couple of days. The all-time high for concurrent users now sits at 24.8 million. The new record is most likely related to the release of Cyberpunk, which 2 hours after its launch had 1 million concurrent users on Steam. In other Steam news, Valve has launched the new Steam News Hub. In other news, more than 2 hours after it's launched, clearly does probably not have 1 million concurrent users.
Talk about that later. News Hub.
Cool. Don't use it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't use any of the stuff that they.
And I literally I open Steam. I go, that's my library. I need to buy something. Go to the store tab. Otherwise, stay in my library. Don't tempt me, Devil Woman. I know the sales you show in those shops.
I use the workshop every once in a while. We're like, oh, you can do mods for this game. Cool.
Yeah, and usually that's me going, I need a new skin pack for Football Manager.
Yep.
And I need the logo packs because I need to get around licensing. But those I usually download and blah, 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 and whatever. That's stuff we don't give a shit about. Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. Apple has introduced new app privacy labels on its stores, which allow users to see what type of data is collected by the applications they download and use. These new labels mean developers now need to disclose their privacy practices when they submit an app to the App Store. Announced at WWDC 2020 in June, these labels take the form of an app privacy summary available on each product's page, disclosing the, quote, types of data the apps might collect, whether that data is shared with third party, and the option for users to opt out, end quote. This information is displayed across 3 categories: data used to track you, data linked to you, and data not linked to you. Apps who fail to comply with the new policy will not be removed from the store, but Apple will not let them be updated until their privacy information is displayed. Have you seen... I've seen some screenshots and stuff pop up on Reddit.
I have not.
Of...
I don't think I'm in those circles.
It's like hardware. It's not even like the Apple.
Oh, I still haven't. Even usually like in my hardware ones are like PC, build a PC and stuff. It's not.
It's pretty entertaining.
Or it's home lab things. So
it's pretty entertaining. It'd be nice to see this type of thing disseminate to all.
I'm surprised this isn't more of a thing, especially after like GDPR and a bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is it's on its way.
Yeah.
It should have happened sooner, and it's on its way now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just got an advertisement the other day for some company, don't remember their name, so shout out to whoever the fuck you were, about their whole thing was you can get them and they will go and, I don't know if it's an app or what it was, but they basically go in and turn all this privacy shit off on you type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like you can, all the stuff that's tracking you, all this, locations and microphones that are turned on and yada yada, like all those things, so they just turn them off type of thing. I was like, that seems like a good idea, but also seems a very good way for you to get the information. If you just say, hey, I'll gladly go around your house and turn off all your lights for you. You just have to let me in the door. Matt, I would like to offer you a service where I personally come by and turn off all the lights in your house when you go to bed at night. You just need to give me a key to your front door.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Thoughts? I'll do it for free. I might every now and then yell about Spotify Premium. Just a sidetrack. It's a thing that happens.
I also might contact a random server every 10 minutes for no reason.
Yeah. Be like, hey, I'm turning off your lights. Have you heard that you can get Spotify Premium? Removes all these ads I'm talking about right now. Beep, boop, 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 beep. All right, Charlie downloaded your data. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye. And I turn off all your lights and I leave.
Classic.
It's classic when you had the visuals for it. If only I was wearing a corduroy coat and there was just a giant green screen behind me. Oh, I love Acaster. He's so good. Number 10. Riot Games is working on a League of Legends MMO. The company's VP of IP and Entertainment, Greg Street, randomly dropped it on Twitter Tuesday. Quote, my recent job at Riot has been to develop the League universe, which we're going to need, because it is time. I'm going to reread this whole thing.
I don't know what. Listen, this tweet.
We're doing this like a WWE intro. Here we go. All right.
Actually, this might be a good approach.
There we go. My recent job at Riot. This is him. Picture this now. If you ever watch WWE or any wrestling, this is going to be him who's now done his good old walk. The whole fireworks have gone off, and he is now standing center ring addressing the crowd that wants to hate him because he works for Riot, which is clearly
a heel.
A heel.
Okay.
But he's going to give the people what they've been wanting.
So this is him turning face.
Yes, exactly. Okay. My recent job at Riot has been to develop the League universe, which, let's be honest, people, we're gonna need. But it is time. My new job is to kick off a big, and some of you might even say massive, game that many of you and many rioters around the world have been asking us to create. End quote. When a follower asked if it was an MMO, he simply replied, "It is an MMO." And then you just get the crowd. Fireworks go off, eruptions. He drops the mic on the stage and slowly walks back up the ramp.
There it is.
I'm doing a lot more quotes like that. That was a lot of fun.
Great.
Wait till we have a really morbid one and I do it that way. I would like to announce.
Is that like a thing now? We do all quotes like WWE wrestlers?
Just down in the middle of the stage. We've had a lot of sexual harassment in this company. And I am here to tell you that I committed half of it.
Essentially what would be happening.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla should not have had a female lead. Boo, boo. Just a bunch of turn heel.
Well, soundboard.
All we need now. Pivot, new idea. Boom mics. I'm going to get the WWE style microphone, like the square on this, and just add it to what we already have. Mm-hmm. I'll get the extension thing that's really unnecessary for these microphones because we don't need it, but I'll do that. I'll walk around the entire time. arms out, big wide arms like this,
Mm-hmm.
looking to nobody clearly.
Yeah.
Put some stuffed animals up so I have some type of a crowd. Fuck this. Pro sports teams and cardboard cutouts. We'll do that. They're cheap. Just go to FYE and steal all the ones they have in front of it.
Is our podcasting desk going to be the announcer table that breaks as soon as you look at it?
Ooh, yeah. And then every now and then we throw a sex doll from off camera and I spike it through the announcer table. So we just have a breakaway table and then rebuild it. It's like those Hot Wheel cars where you can slam them and the doors and everything fly open.
Yep.
We can just squish the announcer table. Actually, if we make the announcer table just out of like foam and we just push it all the way down and then it just springs back to where it was, we're like, all right, cool. Sex doll, only reason because I don't want to put somebody's actual body through it, but I need something that's decently sized and recognizable as semi-human.
Semi-human.
Pig carcass will also do, but I don't think any of us can throw one.
And I'll start to smell after a while.
Yeah.
Not that a sex doll won't, but...
I'm not using it.
Oh, my bad.
Are you going to go buy a used one? You cheap fuck.
Community-driven chat platform Discord raised over $100 million in funding, bringing its valuation to $7 billion, according to TechCrunch. The company's valuation doubled in just 6 months as its number of monthly active users just reached 140 million.
It's a lot of users.
Yeah, that's there for two reasons. 140 million users, $7 billion. Discord. Crazy.
Do you remember what Slack just sold for?
I do not.
I'm going to find out. Hold on. Because Slack just got sold to a company in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be a good...
I'm so out of the loop on Discord because I don't like people.
Salesforce bought Slack for $27.7 billion.
Jesus.
So if anybody wants a rough comparison of where Discord stands versus Slack in valuation, not fucking close. About 20 billion difference. But Discord does what it does very well. So does Slack, obviously, but Slack gets the corporate angle. Discord's not there yet.
I just don't know.
Listen, Skype had to die for this, all right? Actually, Skype died for Teams, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah, which is pretty fucking terrible.
It's actually not that bad. I contend that Teams is not bad.
If you use it for specific things.
I think Teams is not bad pending how your organization implements it.
Yes. If you use Teams as Microsoft... what's the word I'm looking for? As Microsoft markets it, it's not good.
Sure, I don't know how they market it. I just use it. I don't pay attention to the marketing.
It's not. It doesn't seem to work well as an all-encompassing does everything.
I mean, it works basically like Discord. Basically. Mine is. There's not...
Do you use Zoom?
Do I use Zoom?
Yes.
I've used it once this year.
In lieu of Teams?
No.
So you use Teams for video chat?
I use Teams for work stuff. And I don't video chat in Teams.
Okay. Video chat in Teams, very limited.
Oh, yeah, probably.
So,
I mean, video chat in Discord is also limited until you pay. You become a Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's move on. Back in 2019, when former Visceral Games boss Glenn Schofield announced the launch of Striking Distance Studios, he said its first game would be, quote, an original narrative in the PUBG universe, end quote, which is a really weird thing to say. Fast forward to last week, and we see the announcement of the Callisto Protocol, a spiritual successor to Dead Space. Surely this new game can't possibly take place in the PUBG universe. Surely. Or can it? In an interview with IGN, Schofield said that the Callisto Protocol is in fact set in the PUBG universe as it was originally billed, but 300 years after the events of PUBG. Fret not, though. It sounds like he still wants the game to be scary. Schofield said, quote, from what I hear, it's hard to be the creative and talk nicely about it. But from what I hear, Dead Space was one of the scarier games of its generation, and I want to do the same on next gen, or what's considered now the current gen. Good job, Glenn. We're trying to make you really feel like you're in this world, even though it's you escaping from this prison, and you've got to survive these unthinkable horrors, end quote.
Horror game in PUBG universe.
Weird. I like they're like, it's in the PUBG universe, but also 300 years later, just so we're not even close to PUBG.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I also wrote Lord of the Rings 15,000 years after it happened. Have you guys heard of Cyberpunk? Like, the riders of Pan Am will come again. Pan Am, favorite character so far? Just saying.
Is that Cyberpunk?
Yeah. Her and I are tight. Like best friends.
I'll remember that for when I have a frame of reference.
You'll run into her no matter what, but I went back.
Speaking of Cyberpunk.
Oh, look at what I did there. It's like a segue.
We got a whole breakdown. We got Cyberpunk news.
A lot of news.
There's been a lot of it, but I didn't even cover everything. So if there's something you want to talk about, something that you feel...
Honestly, probably not.
Okay.
There's going to be enough here, and there's going to be... A lot of it would just be us shitting on it. Mostly me, because I've played it, you haven't, so...
This weekend I will. Bloomberg obtained an email from studio head and Cyberpunk 2077's creative director, Adam Badowski. Is that how you say that?
Yep.
Assuring staff that they will still receive any bonuses they earned for work on Cyberpunk 2077, disregarding a previous condition about the game's review scores. Quote, after consideration, we believe that measure is simply not fair under the circumstances. We understand the lengths and complexity involved to make this a reality, and still you did everything you could to deliver an ambitious, special game, end quote. So, that's nice, I guess. CD Projekt Red has issued a statement following complaints of glitches and game-breaking bugs on the PlayStation and Xbox versions of Cyberpunk 2077, apologizing for not being more transparent about how the title performs on the previous generation consoles. Via Twitter, part of the statement reads, quote, we should have paid more attention to making it play better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, end quote.
If anybody is shocked, it's this point. Like, I'm not. So I'm not interrupting him because...
Yeah. Following a litany of issues with Cyberpunk 2077, a number of people are seeking refunds on the game, but are struggling to get them. CD Projekt Red's initial statement said to seek refunds from the retailers where the original purchase was made. Obviously, we all know how that would go.
Poorly.
A couple days later, the developer released a new statement saying, if you are unable to obtain a refund for the game from the store where you bought it, please contact us via email until December 21st. And then I got a few updates on how that refunds are, how they're going. Sony has since responded to the situation with this statement. Quote, SIE strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store. SIE will also be removing Cyberpunk 2077 from PlayStation Store until further notice. End quote.
Which is both versions. That includes the PS5 version.
In case you did not understand that, Sony has delisted the game from their store.
And they've never done this for a AAA title.
They've never done this for a AAA title.
No Man's Sky was not delisted.
I did read into this a little bit, and there's a good explanation. I mean, a logical explanation as to why they did it.
Well, there's not an illogical one. As far as I'm concerned.
Microsoft has said that it will offer refunds to anyone who has purchased Cyberpunk 2077 digitally from the Microsoft Store until further notice. But they've kept the game up for sale. Yeah.
Which they have kind of partnering things with them, so it'd be weird to not.
They also added a warning, though. That the game has lots of glitches and bugs. So, people have theorized that the reason for Sony delisting the game is because they don't have a refund policy that can handle the situation. And so they have to do they are creating a system and doing it special for this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of having to deal with it over and over again, they stop selling the game.
Yeah. Cut your losses so you don't have to deal with new cases and only deal with the amount that you have currently out there.
Because they're essentially, I guess they are paying the fees to process transactions and refunds on every single one and to keep doing it. Whereas Microsoft's refund policy and system is set up differently, so they can handle it.
They set theirs up. I don't know when we covered it last year.
Mm-hmm.
When they kind of did something similar to Steam when we saw all that refund stuff coming in about customer purchase protection and stuff.
I did not realize how bad it was because I haven't been keeping up with it.
It's bad.
To exemplify how bad it is with the refunds thing, this one shocked me. Even Best Buy has updated their refund policy specifically for this game. Best Buy said they would allow returns of the game for full refunds through December 21st, including opened packages.
Which, in case you're curious or you don't understand why that's such a big deal, no brick and mortar in its right mind will ever take a full refund on an opened game and actually give you a full refund, not an exchange and yada yada.
Yeah.
Brick and mortar normally, if you give them an open game, no matter when it came out, you lost $5 to $10 walking out of the store with it. And then if it's opened, you usually, except for like GameStop being the one exclusion to this, you can walk in with an open game to a Target or whatever, but you're doing an exchange for a copy of the same game in their policies. So this is quite funny and massive.
Yep.
Go ahead and hit that last part there.
We talked about the CD Projekt Red shares dropping over the past couple weeks, I think now. But the tumbling share price of CD Projekt Red has cost the studio's founders more than $1 billion in wealth. And, you know, rich people being rich people, but it's still interesting that...
Still money.
Yeah. I mean, they essentially went from having roughly $4 billion in wealth to 3 or less, slightly less.
So, let's go back to October.
All right, we're in October.
And our discussion surrounding Cyberpunk, and when we first see it get delayed. You know, still looking forward to it, yada yada, right?
Mm-hmm.
We knew, I'm pretty sure we called this from the beginning, there was no way it would run on PS4s and Xbox Ones.
Yeah.
Without that being the baseline and it not making a difference if you played it on next gen.
Mm-hmm.
But we just knew there was no way. Still, we were excited. I think. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was.
Mm-hmm.
Delay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Delay again. All right. We're into December now. We go through all of November. Studio heads come out and say it runs surprisingly well on the old consoles, which, surprisingly, you're right. It's surprisingly shit. So there's a lot of horrible dishonesty in things that I wanted to say I didn't think CDPR was capable of.
I think
that would be my naivety and for some reason me making an exception of my hate for humans.
We all fell into that trap.
But we did. And, you know, luckily I'm playing on PC. I've talked about the issues I've had so far. It's gotten better so far. Drivers have fixed a lot of like visual things for me. Bugs still happen. Weird clippings. If you want a fun version of how you know it's not the greatest, drive out into the flats. There's areas that are just like landfill, essentially, where it's just garbage for a bunch. You can tell they're screwed because what they did is they had to have created like a garbage tile and then drop that tile on top of the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the garbage pile is not relative to gravity and the terrain. So there is a lot of floating shit out there.
Yeah.
I was driving through it the other day on a motorcycle for a quest, and I went, none of this is touching the ground. It's all, there's just gaps everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, nobody's going to be out here that much, obviously, because it's not part of Night City, and it's you only go out there for a little bit of stuff.
Yeah.
But just walking through, I was like, oh, God. Then you get into the city, and you see things. I've fallen through. I got punched through the elevator. I got ran over by a car and fell through the world.
I've seen a lot of the falling through the world. I
got ran over by the truck, fell through the world, landed on something, and managed to glitch myself back into the world without dying and like reloading.
That's bizarre.
I managed to get back into the world. So somewhere, some NPC just saw a guy crawl out of a fucking sidewalk and should be scared for his life. But yeah, I mean, luckily I wasn't playing this on a console, and the stuff I've seen coming out of the consoles is hot dog shit. To me, once again, this should have been pushed another year, and they fucked themselves in 2017.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think two things could have happened here.
This also is to be remembered that 2 years ago, or 2017, whatever it was, there was the story that came out that they had to rebuild the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that story.
I do.
Where they scrapped everything and basically had to start fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, once you started fresh, you restarted your development cycle for another 5 years. But they didn't. They clearly didn't.
They could have, if they would have abandoned previous gen.
They should have done that immediately.
I think they could have hit this release date if they would have abandoned it right off the bat. This game would have come out pristine, I'm sure. Or if they would have tacked on another year of development and kept the previous gen. But, mistakes were made, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, our problem, and this is more on a like me personally. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but like, CD Projekt Red was put on the pedestal, and we were giving it the benefit of the doubt when normally, if it was any other company, if it was an EA, if it was a BioWare, if it was, Blizzard or whoever else, we would have shit talked them, the whole time. But
whole time meaning like
it would have been like we would have been calling it, differently.
Well, for sure. But now, you fucked up.
You done fucked up. They're paying for it. So
are they?
Someone's paying for it somewhere.
Somewhere somebody's paying for it. But I don't know that it will be like, this is historically bad in terms of what can go wrong in a little over a week. This is nightmarish for them. I don't know that it's nightmarish enough to warrant them not making the same mistake, or as even a warning sign to somebody else to not make this mistake.
I think it is, just because I think so. I mean,
I want to think so, but you can get money. Bethesda can still drop a broken Starfield and get money.
That's true. And it's not like, I've had a really frustrating week with games as well. Like I'm still playing, well, I finished Assassin's Creed, but in typical Ubisoft game, it's probably like just a AAA game thing now, but the closer you get to the end of the game, the more fucking broken it is. And I went from not having any issues with my Assassin's Creed game to like, it would just straight up shut down. Like the game would just close itself, and I would lose like an hour of progress or whatever. Quests were breaking constantly, and I was having to find workarounds, or I have to I'd have to reload a previous save.
Yep.
And it got to the point where I'm like, I almost stopped playing, and I was like mad close to the end because I was just like, fuck this game. Like,
but money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I have to cancel my subscription to Ubisoft.
Post catching up on Mando, I need to cancel Disney Plus. So
Mm-hmm.
Add it to the list of things to get rid of.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I got. But it's been 7 days. So let's wrap this shit up with a what have you been doing?
Watching my normal stuff. Finished Assassin's Creed Valhalla, 81 hours and change. Which that is not my normal playthrough style. So it was a main plus extra situation. So like a little extra.
A little bit extra.
Yeah. Which you can kind of see it through the areas, like, because it tells you, you know, how much of an area you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in the beginning, I did, like, I cleared entire areas, and then it was, like, less and less and less to, like, to the end of the game where it's, like, literally I did shit. I was just like, fuck this, get me through here.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed, victim of its own too bigness.
Yeah, interesting. There's so much potential there.
Oh, yeah. I feel like going back to the Unity problems on the Xbox One launch, you could say with Assassin's Creed, a lot of potential there.
Yep. They just fucking...
And I enjoy them for the most part. Odyssey I had a problem with, but...
The story in this one, man, just gets like... It's just not, like, It's just weird.
Is that
just
ditched
weird.
creative director problems, or...
No, I mean, it's just them trying to juggle too much stuff, because they have the 3 timelines going on now.
Yeah.
So you got your
Modern
Isu or whatever, the gods timeline, modern day, and your historical timeline. And now they're fucking merging them and separating them, and like they're all crisscrossing, and it's just like, what the fuck am I even watching right now? Like,
oh yeah, nothing better than your own story stepping over its own feet.
Yep. Yeah. Anyways, that's where I stand. Cyberpunk's next. And that's it. I think that's all that I have. Oh, I watched The League of Their Own because Samantha's never seen it. Fired that sucker up.
Interesting. There's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball. Which is Amy. I think Amy said that at one point to Samantha or whatever. He said there's no crying in baseball.
100% has watched that movie.
And Samantha's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And Amy's like, you never seen this? And I was like, you never seen this? So we watched it.
And then everybody just looked. There was an echo, like somebody opened their window next door, and they're like, "You've never seen this?"
Yeah, basically. So got to watch that, and now we might have to take a trip to Baseball Hall of Fame if it's open. I don't know what the deal is. That's probably not.
Give it a year.
Yeah,
because I want to go again anyway. I've been before.
I've been before.
It's
She's
time.
Never been, but I was like, it's really close. It could be a cool.
That
thing
entire
to do.
time in the summer is great. I still want to go down during Hall of Fame weekend because it's an absolute nut house down there.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go. I'd have to do 2 separate trips.
Right? Yes. Hall of Fame weekend is not my. I'm going to go hang out weekend. It's my. Yeah. I'm here specific for things.
Yeah, I'm here for the craziness.
Yeah, I'm here to grab a beer and sit on the street and just watch people.
Yeah.
Occasionally see a ball player go by or something, but I'm just here to watch psychos.
Yep. So that's what I've been up to. That's it. Nothing exciting.
All right then.
Yeah.
Fun. Entertaining.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm busy with phone things.
Getting distracted. I went down the knife rabbit hole because I need a knife for work.
I got to show you a knife that one Phil Hughes just got. Damascus blade, confetti handle. The old joke is how many packs did you have to rip open to find the one with the confetti handle? Haha, baseball card joke.
Mm-hmm.
But the Damascus on the blade.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome.
I have like a weird thing with the Damascus blades because they're just temperamental. If you don't get something quality. But anyways, went with a Benchmade. Got a Benchmade knife.
Dude, my Wusthof is sexy. Every time and then I just pull it out of the drawer and I look at it and I'm like, no, you're too good for this job. I don't need you right now. And I set it back in.
I went down the rabbit hole, as I do. So I ordered the knife.
Yep. Then canceled that because you saw another one.
No, stuck with it. But then I was like, oh, these people mod these things. They do all this stuff.
Oh,
I ordered carbon fiber scales for it and titanium hardware and all this other fucking Gucci shit. So, like, it's
the Apple headphone problems.
Yeah, essentially.
Oh, you could pay this for a knife, but what if the old audiophile laughs in money at Apple Image?
Yeah, so
$550, ha ha ha. We spent $2,000 to listen to music.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? You spent $30 to cut meat. What if I spent $600?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, been a lot of WoW.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of WoW. Finished the raid on normal.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Means a lot to me. I'd like to thank the other healers that were a part of that with me. The DPS that managed to actually do damage to the boss. Fuck the tanks.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
I heard you got to up your DPS for the heroic.
I think somebody does, but it's not me because I don't DPS. Gotta pop pots, man. That's how it's all about. Big old EP numbers.
What's the timeline for the heroic?
Oh, no, next week. Immediately. We have to kill it in... we're going to raid Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Christmas, fuck your families, we're raiding. This needs to get done because we're in the race for World First, even though World First Mythic is currently happening, but we're going to do Heroic instead. Don't get me going. That being said, these bitch-ass healers need to up their healing. We can't do DPS if we're going to... Oh, but I'm gonna get going, Matt. Stop that. So that's done. I say done. I still have a lot to do in the game. So each day, log in, do some stuff.
That hurdle has been
accomplished. I have jumped over it, and now I get to look at it fondly and go, never again. Or again next week. One of the two. Then about 17 hours in Cyberpunk now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still enjoying it. I find myself not getting lost in the world, but getting lost in missions.
Okay.
Or people. Pan Am's a perfect example. 100% committed to her. She is the love of my life, and I will kill anybody that says otherwise.
Okay.
That being said, there's a couple other people, same thing. They call me, I'm going to go do their mission.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. I have problems with the amount that I'm with those people, and like I feel attached to those people. Sure, I'm a dude, they're a chick, whatever. And the person I'm referencing is also another dude, but I don't give a shit about him. Because I think they do a really bad... You'll find out in the beginning and probably about where I am, what I'm talking about. But not to really spoil anything for you, they don't establish an emotional connection for you in the beginning, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I have options to talk about my past, I guess, because that does take place. There's a clear, like, okay, prologue, break, years, now type of thing. Or maybe not years, but like months now type of thing. And in certain conversations, you have a chance to talk about that. Like, oh, hey, this thing. And I don't care. Like, the options for me as V to talk about it are like, yeah, you know, this happened to me too, or like I can relate with you type of thing. But I, as Nate, I'm just like, I feel no attachment to any of that. Who gives a shit? I feel more attachment to the loss you just took on, because I was here with you for it, and you guys made it sound really good. But the other one I had in the beginning of the game, I just went, I don't care. So, it's weird.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about the game, if I'm going to actually like it a ton, but we'll see.
I think you'll enjoy it. I just don't know that Assassin's Creed beforehand was the right move. For the RPG burnout aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Which we've seen happen with Dragon Age for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different enough to where it won't be a problem.
No, it should be different. I mean, guns change everything. If you choose to go guns, you could choose to go melee and whatever guerrilla arms are. I didn't do that, but that's a thing. So yeah, there's that. But that's really been it. So
Holidays, so
yeah. There'll still be an episode next week. It will not be the Game of the Year episode. The Game of the Year episode will be the week following. But next week is just going to be a random episode. No news, but just some fun, creative storytelling, I think, for what will literally be December 25th Christmas episode. So happy 8th day of Hanukkah. That might have been today. It might have been yesterday. Not positive, but I feel like we should call it the whole holiday thing. Kwanzaa is a thing that happens at some point. I'm ignorant. That being said, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.